Facenote is a company that white labels older technology from Hisense, iReader, and other manufacturers. The F1 came out with the Hisense A5 shell from 2019, and now they're using the iReader Smart Shell. Now there's one very big difference between the Facenote N1 and the iReader Smart or Smart 2, which is that despite the name of the company being called Facenote, there are no note-taking capabilities whatsoever. Well, a lot of you guys might be thinking, well, maybe you guys just didn't look hard enough. Well, that is not the case. We actually do have people within Good eReader that speak Chinese, read Chinese characters, and we of course use Google Lens, in which case you just hold it over and you get a full translation of everything on the screen. We have gone from top to bottom on this device, so there is only Chinese on this. There are no other keyboards you can add, there's no other languages, there's absolutely nothing. Yes, we have updated to the absolute latest update. There is one thing you can do. In the back end here, you can actually click on the version number a whole bunch of times, and no, it does not open up dev mode. However, what it does is, for some reason, it gives you English out of all the languages in the world of a few things you can check. So you can do test, you can check the version, Wi-Fi, touch, and so forth. And all this is just really calibration stuff. So if you touch EPD, which is electronic paper display, all it really does is just show you some sensor things. So you tap the corners and away you go. Same thing with touch. You can just touch the X, you can touch the perimeter around, like so. And once it's complete, it'll say touch success. None of this has anything to do with the actual core mechanics and usage of this device. It is just simply kind of back-end jargon for the more technically minded people. Well, for those of you still sticking around, let's explore the rest of the device. On the bottom left corner, you have your library. These are things that you have downloaded or sideloaded. Now here is your store. It will ask you a bunch of recommendations and suggestions like what kind of genre you're into and whatnot. It'll cater it to you from there. You can scroll around here. A lot of it is delivered from iReader, as you can see the little icons there. Coincidentally or not, the iReader logo is also the logo of the Facenote line, so we're not really sure what's going on there because iReader said themselves that they have no idea that Facenote actually white labeled this device from them. So it must have just been some old overstock from a third-party company. You have an audiobook store as well, which is kind of interesting because this does have a speaker on it, and it does work with side-loaded content. You can download your Chinese content from here. We have searched far and wide on the audiobook store, and there are no other languages other than simplified Chinese, traditional, and to a lesser extent variations of that like Cantonese, Mandarin, etc. So you won't find any other languages on this store. It will have to revolve around you side-loading things in. Now you see some apps here. Now this is Kindle, but it is Kindle.cn, Amazon.cn. And although you have some things you can uninstall, you can force close, clean it up. So having the ability to uninstall, you would think you're able to install, correct? Incorrect. Doesn't matter where you put the APK file on this unit, in a folder, in the root, you cannot discover it. It will not show any .apk extensions, and there's no way to actually sideload in any apps. All apps will have to be purchased through the App Store directly. While you are on the audiobook store, weirdly enough, most if not all of the content is absolutely free. You click on it without any sort of subscription of any kind. You just click listen for free. And you just start listening to the audiobook for free, and it's the entire thing as well. Although it can't find APK files, you can sideload in your own content, and it reads a bunch of formats. So you can just start with an ebook, for example. It looks great. It actually looks very, very crisp, and there's a lot of screen real estate here. The thing about the e-reader world is that there are no large screen e-readers. There are large screen note-taking devices and tablets like the Max, the Sony, the Fujitsu all day long. But in terms of a 10.3-inch e-reader, there really is only one, and that's the Pocketbook InkPad X. Everything else seems to have a note-taking layer and they're charged a fortune for that because there's licensing involved for Wacom and whatever other EMR technology they're using. But in terms of this, it's looking very nice because there's a lot of screen real estate. It's very responsive. A lot of the things will be in Chinese, of course, including the iReader application, which is really the only one you can use. So with that, you can read, and it does work really well. You have a bunch of different ways to change text as well. It's just a little bit of a learning curve if you don't speak the language. If you are an English speaker, it's going to be hard to find, but once you find it the first time, you'll be all good. If you tap the little circle here, and then you tap the refresh button, you actually get speed modes. It says normal, fast, and speed mode. So these are really nice because this gives you the ability to speed up the unit as you see fit. If we go to speed mode, we have boosted it now to the point where everything just kind of speeds up, and that's a good thing. Although it makes the image look really bad, and there is a lot of ghosting and staining, you have a much better experience, especially when it comes to pinch and zooming. Pinch and zooming is a little bit slow and there's no real mini-map to show you where you are, but overall it's a great screen size for PDFs, absolutely. And with the speed mode, thank goodness there is one, you can really get some use out of this. When it comes to graphic novels and manga, this is a great screen size. There's lots of room, although you will run into some formatting issues with side-loaded content. Now, because this is manga, you want it to be the best looking it can be, and because you don't turn pages in manga that often, it's okay to leave it in the slow mode, I guess you could call it, the normal mode, and you just read and get the best experience as you can, and every once in a while you change pages, so it's not really necessary that you have it on a faster mode, but it looks great, and you can do pinch and zooming all the same, and the quality is very nice. Now the thing about a big screen e-reader is that you don't really have to pinch and zoom. Once you get your side-loaded content formatted properly so that it fits to the corners, you won't really have to zoom in because it just displays it so well. Although you can move the dot around for the added features like refresh mode, etc., there is another thing on your screen that will be there unless you close it. You'll see some graphic equalizer here. Once you start an ebook that has audio, it will always be there until you close it. You just shut it off right there, but you can easily reference it. For example, we stopped at the 27-second mark. You can just start it up again. So that's really nice, and then you can go like that and it'll just revert back to the little circle. The glow light is adequate and does have warm lighting as well, so you can turn it to kind of orangey or you can turn it to extreme blue. There is a little bit of spotting on the side and all of the corners, but overall it fills the screen all right, I guess. Is the Facenote N1 for you? Well, let's break it down. It is a Chinese only device, so if you speak Chinese or live outside of China, it has great potential. You have a lot of different markets, a ton of content, a lot of it is free. Doesn't require you to have any subscriptions or even start an account. We're here in Japan at our testing office and everything works flawlessly. The device is also built really well, and that's mostly credit to iReader who made the shell. Now there isn't any note taking, which is a huge problem because it's called Facenote. That doesn't make any sense. Is the Facenote a hit? Absolutely not. It is a complete miss. You can sideload in your own content, but you can't load in any apps, and all the apps that are on there, all you have is just the ability to uninstall them. There are so little pros to this device that it wouldn't be worth making a purchase on unless indeed you want to take advantage of that overseas mainland China content. For GoodyReader.com and a full review of the Facenote N1, this is Peter.